I am wearing the Dinosaurs Are Cool Transphobia is Not t-shirt because it feels very fitting for today's video. Hey Spuds, how's it going? It's Jamie, welcome back to another video, first video on the channel. I don't know, but welcome either way. Today we are talking about something I never expected to have to talk about, but we're here. We're talking about the Adele Brits transphobe discussion storm, whole hot mess that never should have happened. That's where we're at today. So although today I'm talking to you about the Brits and Adele and what's happened, really what I'm demonstrating and what this video is about is how the media shits on trans people and how transphobic radical feminists, referred to as terfs, bend the truth to make trans people seem like they're ludicrous. When again, trans people are just trying to live their lives. So what has this got to do with Adele and the Brits? Well, I will answer that question. This is the first year that the Brits changed their categories for their awards from gendered, so male and female, to gender neutral. So instead of female and male artist of the year, they just have artist of the year. The Brits this year happened on the 8th of February and Adele gave this speech when she won Best Artist of the Year. I understand why the name of this award has changed, but I really love being a woman and being a female artist. I do. I'm really proud of us, I really am. Personally, I'm so happy for Adele. It's so cool that she's championing women in the music industry. She should be proud. It's amazing. She's amazing. And I literally didn't think anything of her comment, and I didn't think that it came across as transphobic or turfy. She literally prefaced her comment by saying she understands why the categories are now gender neutral. She's just personally proud to be and loves being a woman, and an incredibly successful one at that. So I was surprised when I went on Twitter, as I usually do, just scrolling, and people were saying things like trans people are saying Adele is transphobic. And I was like, hello, what's going on? This is weird. What is happening? I was shocked, could not believe it, refused to believe it. Adele can't be anti-trans. That's when I found this tweet. Who'd have thought hashtag Adele was a transphobe and would use her platform to call for the destruction of the trans community, especially the confused teenagers? This tweet was written by someone who was joking about Adele and what she'd said. The person who tweeted that then replied to their own tweet, making it very clear it was a joke. Obviously, Adele stating that she really loves being a woman does not make her transphobic, nor does it give people an excuse to use the thinly veiled slur TERF against her or any woman standing for biological reality. Not only does this second tweet, that was a direct reply to the first tweet, show that the first tweet was a joke and not meant seriously, it also shows that the person who tweeted the first one has transphobic views, as in saying things like TERF is a slur and against her or any woman standing for biological reality. That's just a transphobic dog whistle. And I did look further onto their Twitter and found some other transphobic supportive views on there, such as hashtag keep prison single sex. The main point to take from this is that first tweet was absolutely not a trans person showing any kind of genuine upset over what Adele had said. It was a joke, not even made by a trans person, and made in very poor taste. But that does not stop transphobes making a mountain out of a molehill. All of a sudden, a bunch of TERFs started using this as an excuse to be transphobic on Twitter, with some even claiming Adele as their own and being proud that she seemed to be one of them as if it's some kind of club, suggesting that Adele agrees with their views, which are transphobic. Not only are transphobic people on Twitter jumping on this, but so are news media outlets. Yay. The storm created by Twitter transphobes and subsequently media outlets really highlights the insidious nature of transphobia and the negative approach that many media outlets take towards trans people and the trans community. Take a look at this article, for example. Adele slammed for telling gender-neutral awards show she loves being a woman. The singer made the remark at Tuesday's Brit Awards as she collected Artist of the Year, a new category merging Best Male and Best Female Artist. Adele is being accused of transphobia for declaring at a woke gender-neutral awards show that she loves being a woman. This article has 3 sources of evidence that it uses to back up the claims. One seems to actually be a legitimate tweet. Please know Adele can't be a TERF. That last comment, though ambiguous, could be perceived as turfy. Please no. That's one person who I can't even confirm if they're trans or not, and whilst it does seem to question whether Adele's words were transphobic in meaning, it's absolutely not coming across as angry or attacking. This is one tweet that is not representative of the trans community or what trans people online are saying. Trans people are not making Adele's words a trans issue, and they're not saying she's transphobic. So why, page 6, are you claiming that they are? Because you're trying to stir shit for the trans community and get clicks on your articles. That's why. The second piece of the evidence was the first tweet I talked about that wasn't even a tweet from a trans person and was jokingly saying that Adele was being transphobic. It wasn't even written by somebody who supports trans rights. We've gone over this already. It was a transphobe making a very poor joke that's now been twisted and taken out of context. And the third evidence linked to an article on the Times of London. Others complained that they had lost a lot of respect for Adele and would no longer spend a cent on her music, the Times of London noted. I have read the Times of London article 10 times. Where is this? I could not find any of this evidence when I clicked that link to look at the Times of London article. It's not on there. It's wild, and it would honestly be laughable if it wasn't so sad and frustrating. Trans people do not get mad when cis people are happy and love being their gender, but transphobes, particularly terfs, seem to love fabricating narratives to make trans people seem irrational and angry, and the media laps it up like a kitten drinking milk. And you know who it hurts? Adele, for one, in this instance, but also the trans community. Neither of which is okay. This should not be happening. This is just one example where trans people are being vilified and made to look like we're creating some kind of big fuss when literally nothing is happening. And all the transphobes are pointing their fingers in the air, saying, look at the angry trans people and how unfair they're being. And you look where they're pointing and there's nothing. No angry trans people, no trans mob, no trans people cancelling anybody or anything. Twitter is a very big place, and there's no way that I as one person could see every single tweet that mentions this event. There is the reality that a trans person or a trans ally has claimed that what Adele said was transphobic. I personally think it's a stretch. I was not able to find anything, and even if it is there, it's certainly not a prominent enough view that anybody should be calling it out or TERFs and transphobes should be making a big deal out of it, or that articles should be written about it, like literal news articles have been written about this. But it could be out there. So I wanted to do a little exercise to objectively have a look at the types of tweets that were talking about Adele at the Brits. I went back to the top tweets mentioning Adele today in relation to trans rights, scrolled for 10 minutes and categorised the tweets. 0 tweets were angry trans people calling Adele a TERF. 0. 2 tweets were from trans people / trans allies questioning if what she said came across as transphobic / terfy. But disclaimer, I could not actually determine if these people were trans, that's why I've said trans or trans allies. 10 tweets were from confused trans people and trans allies who could not understand what was going on, why Adele was being called transphobic, and who did not think that she was being transphobic. I didn't tweet anything personally myself, but this is the category I would fall into. And wait for it. A whopping 52 tweets. The vast majority of tweets were from transphobic people calling out trans people, or being transphobic, or thinking that Adele is now on their side. 52. Calling out what? The 0 tweets of angry trans people calling her a transphobe. There's nothing there. There's certainly not enough there to cause any kind of outrage. I then scrolled and scrolled and scrolled and scrolled some more through loads and loads and loads of tweets that mentioned Adele on Twitter. And all I saw was the same one tweet being shared and many angry people shouting that Adele had been cancelled by the trans community. I also saw numerous tweets of trans people supporting Adele and calling out people who were twisting the whole situation. The Adele controversy appears to be right-wing outlets attempting to claim she's being accused of transphobia for saying she's proud to be a woman while accepting a gender-neutral award. That's not transphobia. Adele is not a transphobe. What an utterly toothless scandal. Adele, I love being a woman. One single tweet, literally just the effing one, is Adele being transphobic. The rest of the entire effing trans community, good for her. Right-wing press, trans people are attacking Adele just for saying she's a woman. They are monsters. I spent way too much of my morning trying to find a single trans person on the internet who was upset about Adele saying she loves being a woman. I could not. This story is 100% manufactured outrage by a right-wing media fixated on turning the public against trans people. I think that last one really sums it up very well, and I'm not the only person who was out there looking who could not find any trans person who was outraged by this. No trans person or trans ally tweeted anything that could constitute a slam, or calling out, or labelling, or cancelling Adele and saying she's a transphobe. But many actual transphobes were using this as an opportunity to take another jab at the trans community. Adele was not transphobic. The trans community don't think that Adele was transphobic. But TERFs have twisted Adele's words themselves, and then they've twisted the narrative to say that trans people were twisting the story. 2022, the year in which the cult of gender has taken such a hold that when the winner of the Brit says, "I really love being a woman and being a female artist," she is castigated. She'll now be pressurized to apologize. Are you getting it yet? Hashtag gender critical. Who'd have thought Adele was a transphobe and would use her platform to call for the destruction of the trans community? That's the joke tweet. Saying you love being a woman/female artist, that's the bar for being near accused of genocide. The best thing about the Adele situation is that it shows that all any woman has to do to be called a TERF is acknowledge her own sex. It exposes how low the bar is and how high the cost is for a woman who speaks the truth without first considering if deranged men are okay with it. That was a long sentence and just total shit. Go TERF Island. Love to see all of this coverage in Newsweek. Congrats. Then at hashtag Team TERF, hashtag women won't wished. Just another example of a transphobe thinking Adele's now in their team. Adele is being used as another scapegoat, another reasons for transphobes to be transphobic. This is another example of how the media negatively treats trans people and the trans community. The only source they use are lies, tweets where the meaning has been extremely deepened or twisted, or literal satirical tweets from transphobes themselves pretending to be outraged trans people. In what world would one tweet, or even 3 tweets if all sources were genuine, constitute an attack on someone? When would you ever see the media run multiple articles about something based off of 1 to 3 tweets that don't even get that much traction? It's ridiculous. Adele deserves better. The trans community deserves better. And shame on you, media, for thinking that this is a story. Shame on you for vilifying the trans community yet again, although I can't say I'm surprised. Anyway, I want to end this video on a positive note. Adele, who was not transphobic, gender critical, or TERFy in any way, went to a gay bar a couple nights after the Brits. She reportedly got on stage, hung out with the people there, and the incredible drag queen Cheryl Hole, and is reported to have said, "You're all women who identify as women." So there you go. Transphobes can stop claiming her as one of their own, because that's just strange behaviour anyway. They did it to Stephen King too when he retweeted a tweet from J.K. Rowling that he'd misinterpreted as not being transphobic. When he realised it was transphobic, he deleted the tweet and publicly stated that trans women are women. After this, Rowling deleted her own tweet where she thanked Stephen King for supporting her. Honestly, just leave people alone, especially trans people, who don't deserve to be blamed for causing a fuss that is entirely fabricated and led by transphobes in the first place. Oh, and listen to Adele's new album. It's amazing, and well done to her for winning the award. She's an incredible woman and an incredible role model to other women in the music industry, so congrats to her. That is all I have to say on the matter. Trans people didn't cause a fuss. Transphobes are pretending that they did. The media is buying it and trying to get clicks on their articles. Let's just leave Adele and trans people alone, okay? Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, think about giving it a thumbs up and subscribing if you want to, but no pressure. And let me know what you think in the comments down below. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Much love. Bye.